everybody. Oh, it's going well. Okay, let's start again. Hello there everybody, how are you all doing? I do hope that you are well and welcome back to my channel. Hi, nice to see you again. So, the other day, I was lying in bed and a thought suddenly came to me, and that thought was, what if the Friends cast were in quarantine right now? Now, I know they kind of went through something like this in the one with the blackout, where they're all kind of stuck indoors in the dark with nothing to do. However, I thought, what if the Friends cast were going through the whole self-isolation and quarantine thing like the rest of the world are right now? So I started writing a list of what each character were probably going to be doing at this weird time of our lives. And then I decided, hey, this would make a great video because I don't think anybody's actually done this yet. So, without further ado, let's get on to the video of what would the Friends characters be doing during this quarantine period. The timeline that I thought would probably work best is when they're all kind of living in the same area as each other. So it's when Ross has got his apartment opposite Monica and Chandler's apartment, Monica and Chandler live together, and Joey's still obviously across the hallway. It's the period where Phoebe and Rachel have just been living together in Phoebe's apartment, but at one point it caught fire in some of the apartments, so they had to move in with Monica and Chandler and Joey. I think it would be best if it was in that time period, just because then they'd be all together rather than it being like Phoebe alone in her apartment and then Ross alone somewhere else in another apartment, because I feel like that would be funnier for this situation that we're in right now. So that's that. Phoebe is living with Monica and Chandler, and Joey and Rachel are living together currently because of the whole situation in the apartment for Phoebe and Rachel. So that's where they are all living. So Joey and Rachel, Chandler, Monica and Phoebe in the spare room. Ross would be living across from them in Ugly Naked Guy's old apartment. So let's start with Monica. So I feel like Monica would be in her element right now during this whole period of time, because obviously we know Monica is a clean freak. She loves cleaning, so she would be taking this time to clean the apartment from head to toe, so it's completely spotless. If Phoebe or Chandler had to leave the apartment for whatever reason, she'd make sure that they are completely sanitized before they came back into that apartment. So she'd probably get them to thoroughly sanitize their hands. She'd probably make them take off the clothes they're currently wearing, give them to her in like a Ziploc bag, and then she would use her own solution to clean that thoroughly. But she would be having the best time in the apartment. She'd be living her best life cleaning. And also cooking for the masses. She'd probably be also having to cook for Joey, because as we know, Joey likes to sneak over to their apartment and steal their food. He thinks it's unknowingly, but obviously Monica and Chandler realise that's what he does. And she'd probably have to be cooking for Joey and leaving the food outside the apartment for him because he feels sad that he can't steal it anymore. So that's probably what she's also doing for him. And yeah, that's all I have really for Monica. She'd just be cleaning a lot and cooking, and obviously she'd probably be missing her hosting because she loves to be the hostess with the mostess, but that's Monica. On to Chandler. So obviously Chandler is making the most of his free time and taking that time to finally take an interest in football. I'm kidding. Obviously he's not doing that. Like, he could do that. He could stick on ESPN every now and again, like Rachel informs him to do when he has no idea of anything to do with sports. But he's not going to spend his time watching that, is he? No, 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 no. He's probably found a copy of an old musical that he has, that he claims is Monica's, but it's definitely not. It's his. And he's probably watching that or listening to the soundtrack or something obsessively. And then I think he'd also be taking regular visits to the chick and the duck. So I think they'd probably be out in the hallway. He'd obviously want to see his chick and his duck, and he'd be missing them, so they'd be having hallway gatherings to reunite each other with them. And obviously he'd be missing his pal Joey, so Joey would have to be there too, but from a safe social distance of doorway to doorway. He's probably also come up a lot with a lot of jokes. This is probably perfect comedic material for him, and he might even be trying to submit them to Playboy, like he does in an episode with Ross, who they argue over that weird joke to do with a monkey and a doctor, and I feel like he'd be trying to submit a lot of his jokes to Playboy, or any other magazine, or maybe Archie Comics or something, I don't know. Okay, on to Phoebe. Now obviously Phoebe, I have put her living with Monica and Chandler in their apartment. Now, we all know Phoebe is a tough gal. She's been through many things in her life. She's lived on the streets, she's had to kind of fend for herself a lot of the time, and we all know she has had a very vivid and colourful past life. She likes to tell us a lot about her past lives, and she probably will discuss that in this episode if this were an episode of Friends. However, Monica's obsessive cleaning and shrewdness of the apartment is driving her crazy, so she's taking the opportunity to self-isolate herself in her room just so she doesn't have to deal with Monica. She's probably writing songs, and maybe she's rediscovering a hobby that she used to take up. Maybe reading auras, because she used to do that quite a lot. Maybe she's knitting again. Remember that one episode where she decided to knit a jumper, but she was also on hold to the phone company, and that was a hot mess. I feel like she'd be doing that. So that's Phoebe. She would be self-isolating away from Monica because she is driving her insane, but she probably would be capable of dealing with it because of her past lives. Ross! Good old Ross. Now, obviously we know when he first moved in, he used to do this thing where he used to do a bit. So he'd be like pretending to watch the TV, or he'd be pretending to surf, or he'd be pretending to be attacked by sharks, or he'd be pretending that Ben was there when actually it was a pumpkin. I feel like he'd be taking that up again, trying to entertain Chandler and Monica through the window, and he thinks it's hilarious and that they're loving it, but really they're just not enjoying it in any way, shape or form. I feel like that's what he'd be investing some of his time doing. And what else would he be doing? He'd probably be talking to Ben a lot on the phone. Oh no, the sun went out. Oh, it's coming back. Nope, it's gone again. Oh hi, the sun's out again. There was a lighting change. I'm very sorry about that. Okay, so I was saying Ross would probably be talking to Ben on the phone a lot. I know people always say that he kind of neglects Ben towards the end of the time that Friends was running, but you know, he'd probably still want to be in contact with him right now because he realises how important family is now that he can't see him regularly. So he'd probably be talking to him on the phone a lot, making sure he's okay, trying to entertain him with the phone, all that kind of jazz. And he's probably watching a lot of Discovery Channel, because we know Ross loves the Discovery Channel. I feel like maybe he will have cracked out his old keyboard and be writing some really terrible songs again, like he does that one time. That's not good at all. I feel like he'd be taking the time to invest in his music again, now that he can't go to work. Oh no, I dread to hear what that would be like. On to Joey. So Joey isn't coping very well, I don't think, with this whole thing, because he loves his friends, he loves hanging out with his friends, and he'd definitely be missing them a lot and not being able to see them all the time. Obviously he still has Rachel, but he loves Chandler, that's his best pal, and they used to live together, and he definitely misses that. He misses Monica's cooking, and he misses hanging out with Phoebe and doing their little weird things that they like to do together, and he probably even misses Ross. But he also would probably be missing the chicks, the hot chicks, not being able to have any of those around. He's not happy right now with this whole isolation thing. He's probably finding it very stressful because obviously, you know, Joey doesn't really like big changes and it stresses him out a lot. He just likes to have things as they are. He just likes to focus on his little safe comfort zone, you know? You know, he's probably making a secret stash like he did that one time in the episode where Ross and Rachel are arguing. So after the first time they argued, and then the second time they argue, he makes a box in Monica's room under the bed that's to help them get through the situation, because last time they were hungry and they were bored, this time they were well prepared. So I feel like he would have made one of those this time, and at some point he's probably suggested repopulating the earth with Rachel, just in case they have to, in case everybody dies in the outside world and he has to repopulate with Rachel. She'll obviously turn him down, but it's worth a shot, right? He probably brings the foosball table outside for a little bit so him and Chandler can play. But obviously Monica makes sure that it's well sanitized because that would be gross otherwise. And obviously it's only those guys that would play on it. They wouldn't invite their neighbours or anything because that's too many people gathering. That's not allowed. But yeah, that's probably it for Joey. I feel like Ross would maybe try and make him rewrite his screenplay, but then that fails too. So yeah, he's just enjoying his time with the chicken duck. Sad that he can't hang out with his pals, but probably brings out the foosball table to the hallway so they can play on the foosball table and it brings them together. And on to Rachel. Now obviously Rachel really enjoys living with Joey. She likes the freedom that it brings. And Phoebe obviously struggles with living with Monica and Chandler. But I think this is the period of time where they've found out that they can go back to the apartment, but it's not ready yet. And obviously they can't move in there anyway because people aren't allowed to move during the coronavirus. So I feel like it's the period of time where she's trying to make Rachel move back in with her. So she's probably got the drum kit still at this point that Phoebe gifts her. So she's probably trying to relearn some things on the drum kit, but also that she can play is tequila, because we all know that her and Joey like to play tequila on the drum kit. She's probably reading a lot of fashion magazines for inspiration and things like that because she misses her job. And she's probably playing a lot of weird games in the apartment with Joey to keep themselves entertained, like Fireball, and what else do they play? The wet paper towel game that they play, where they throw wet paper towels everywhere. I don't even know. And obviously we know Rachel's not a great cook. She'd probably be getting taught how to cook over the phone with Monica. So she'd be going step by step through how to cook. Obviously she's not going to be that great still, but it's getting them by. It's getting them by. Oh, I don't know. There's not really a lot that Rachel would be doing. I know that's really bad, but I feel like all I have on here is fashion. That's so bad. I don't want her to just be really dull and boring and be like, oh, she's reading fashion magazines and scene with Rachel. No, she's probably doing something fun, and investing her time wisely. Maybe she's even doing like an online course somewhere to make herself better, like a management course or something, because we know that soon she's probably going to be with having her own personal assistant and things like that in Ralph Lauren, and she doesn't know how to do that. She's never had to manage anybody before, so she's probably wanting to improve herself as a person. So maybe she's doing that too. I don't know though. And then poor old Gunther. Obviously he can't open Central Perk right now, so he's missing his custom, but he's especially missing Rachel. But it's okay, because he still has Rachel's weird, hairless cat to keep him company. Even if he has almost lost an eye or two a few times, but because that cat is vicious, right? But yeah, he's missing his company, he's missing serving coffee to people, he's missing staring at Rachel. But he's doing okay. He's probably bleaching his hair again in his apartment because we know that's not real, and he's talked about that before. And yeah, that is, I think, everyone that I can think of. There's other characters that I could do as well, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the main people and Gunther. So yeah, I feel like that's what everyone would be doing. And yeah, it's just something fun that kept me up the other night when I was in bed. So I hope you enjoyed it too. If you have any other ideas of what they could be doing during this time, let me know below. Or if you have any other fictional characters that you think would be doing something during their time, maybe another TV show or a movie or a book that you've read and you'd think, maybe this character would be doing this thing. Maybe a Disney character. Write down below too so I can read it and probably laugh, because I think that would be something really cool to read. I hope you guys are staying safe and well during this time period, and I'm thinking of you all and wishing you the best of luck. And may the odds be ever in your favour. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye!